Howdy fellas, back out here in the shop. Finally got that Nissan Frontier done. I didn't end up recording any more of it because it was just horrible. Every time we put it back together, found another problem. Put it back together and the head was leaking out of the side where the gasket went in, and we had to tear it back apart and get a new gasket for it, put it back together, and then the intake was leaking. So then we had to tear it back apart again and redo the gasket for the intake, and finally got it put back together and everything was right. Thank God. That took forever. You know, I think all together we had to take the engine apart 3 or 4 times. That thing is just a nightmare to work on. Too many little things. It takes whole days to do one part of it, a whole day, just to get it down to one spot when you really don't know where everything goes and you're just learning it. Real pain. But got the drag car back in the shop. And now I got some parts for it. So it'll actually make it run right, because right now I'm only running on 7 cylinders because one cylinder doesn't have on the driver's side here, I guess it'd be the right since I'm facing that direction. It has one rocker missing and one push rod and stuff pulled out of it. So I got the new set of heads for it with all the original stuff. I've already ported them, cleaned them all up, painted them. For porting, I didn't do a whole lot. All I did was take out the EGR bumps and gasket match, and that's all I did for porting on both heads. And I left everything in here stock exactly the way it was, because I'm just having too hard of a time figuring out the whole roller situation for roller rockers. Every time I put studs in a head, I ruin them. And so I'm gonna have to do some serious research and some practice and really figure out how to do the roller setup. I'd rather just get the bolt-on roller setup, but it's 300 bucks. And then you don't have to change anything. They're for a stock head. They're like 330 bucks. And they just one long bar with all these already on here that are rollers, bolt right on. In the same place that the rockers would bolt on. You don't need nothing special or extra, and bam, you got a full roller top end. It's real easy, so that's the plan for the future. Right now it's just got the roller cam and the roller lifters, and we're running with the stock heads on top. These are, by the way, these are E7 heads, so they're nothing special, but they will get the job done for what we want. So and then I got to get this water pump cleaned up, and this water pump has to go on, not the water pump that's on there, because my pulley will not fit the other water pump, and it fits this water pump. So I don't have a pulley for the other one. It's a V-belt, and I do need it for the water pump and the alternator. Those are the two things that's going to be on belts for now, because I can't afford to go with the electric stuff to get it bolted on, unfortunately. And that giant master cylinder, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'm probably going to have to move it over, because I don't think it will, if I put it in the original holes, it's not going to fit. You see the original holes are right here. Oh, if I can point the camera at it. And the valve cover is like right here. So, I mean, it'll be close, but I don't think it will. So I'm gonna probably have to move it over a little bit, I'm guessing. Don't want to, but I don't have to, that's for sure. But I wish I could just get a regular master cylinder to bolt on there and not have to freaking worry about it. We'll see. I'm not sure what to do about the whole brake situation yet, but we need them, so that's going to be a major thing. As soon as I get this water pump off, change out the water pump, change out the heads, which won't take too long, and I'll put that all on fast forward here for you guys to watch. Alright, so that's the main thing. To get this back running, so I mean it starts up and runs now, but it's only running on 7 cylinders. So it's only got the exhaust valve working. I believe the intake one is the one that broke. So the lifter did, or not the lifter, the rocker. Another one of those stupid chrome roller tip rockers. And another one broke, so that's why it's only running on 7 cylinders right now. So once I get those heads on, I won't have to worry about them roller tip rockers or breaking anymore. It'll all be good. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these heads and water pump. You gotta pull the intake, and I think the distributor too to get the intake off. Ugh. But it's easy to set this back up, so it ain't like working on one of them Nissan Frontiers. Oh, that's horrible. But anyways, that's all that's got to be done, and I'm gonna get on that right now. Alright fellas, got it all apart and ready to get putting the heads back on, the exhaust back on. But I ain't going to be able to put the water pump back on unless I can find a V-belt pulley for an 89 Mustang GT. Because there's a pulley I took off that timing cover, and I'm not going to tear it down that far. Try and switch out timing covers and everything else. I'm not going to do that. And this water pump pulley, as you just seen, I had it over there, or not the pulley but the water pump. It is way too big, it will not go on there at all. So that blows, so I cannot use that water pump or this pulley. So I need to find a V-belt pulley, which I'm sure I can find one. I'll look online, see what I can come up with, and we'll get it done. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get the heads, intake, exhaust back on so I can get it fired up. But before I do that, I got to go in the house and grab my brand new starter so I can get that one replaced out. So I'm going to go in there and get that, get it out here, and then get back on it, guys. Well, the starter's on. Somehow I misplaced a couple of sockets. Oh, I just found one. Alright, I found it. Sheesh. Alright. Yeah, starter is on. Good to go. Now on to getting these heads on. Alright, I need to steal my phone for a minute. I gotta look up the firing order for this. I can't remember. I was trying to do it off the top of my head. And I just can't remember. I don't even remember if it was clockwise or counterclockwise. I'd have to pop the cap off and click the starter over and see which way the rotor is spinning. I think I just did it clockwise. I think it's actually supposed to be forward and counterclockwise. So I gotta check that. I'll be right back. Alright, I was wrong. They all spin counterclockwise, and I had them all on clockwise. So we're going to try this start thing again. Here we go. I'm gonna pour a little bit of oil down all the push rod holes and on top so that it has some lubrication. Put the valve covers on and the headers back on, and then I'll record again at startup so you can, let's do it idle because it's gonna have to run for probably, I'm gonna guess 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and that's the plan. So give me just a few minutes. All right, fellas, she's all back together. And right now what I'm about to do is do a startup on it and let it warm up for a minute. All right, trying to start her up, let it warm up, see what happens. See if it blows up on me. Oh, that's fine now. Alright fellas, I just you seen I had it up and running and playing around. It seems like I don't know, something's a little weird and off with it, but I mean it's running smooth, best it's ever ran. Maybe the fact just needs to run for a little bit. It's idling high, and too high for me, probably mess with the timing. Probably idling like 3,000. So I'm assuming, it's hard to tell, you know. It's got a loud exhaust on it. There's no water hooked up to it, so I can't like leave it running and mess around with it or anything. So, but let it sit, let everything, now that it's heated up, let it all cool down and seal. And we'll fire it back up tomorrow, check for vacuum leaks, like around the intake and stuff, spray some soap water around it, see if it's sucking in anywhere or bubbling out or anything like that. And then we'll start hooking up the shifter cable so I can run it through its gears. There she is, one more time. I shut it off and started it back up like 4 times. Once when you guys just watched me, and let it run for a minute, and then shut it off, and then I did it a few more times. But that's it for tonight, guys. Tomorrow we're going to try and hook up a shifter cable and run it through its gears and see if it'll move under its own power. Yippee-ki-yay!